And welcome back everyone. Today we'll be talking about the fifth level in our Spiral Dynamics series, Orange. So you all know the drill by now, the pendulum has swung back to individual. Orange now is no longer interested in tradition or upholding a civilization, but now is driven by a desire to achieve goals and become successful. But it does not disregard family entirely, but makes family much less of a priority than success, or building its own legacy. At Orange, this is where technology and innovation really begins to take off. This is where people think, instead of preserving the old way of doing things, let's build and develop technology with a prosperous economy. This is where you have the Industrial Revolution, with the rise of factories and motorized vehicles, advancements in modern medicine to cure diseases, better roads and bridges and infrastructure, and buildings that are more earthquake resistant. Orange values building skills, and this is where you have the beginning of personal development and the rise of the self-help industry, so people can better themselves. Because Orange is a sole believer in the concept that you are 100% responsible for dealing with whatever problems going on in your life and fixing them. Therefore, Orange is not keen on anyone being dependent on the welfare system or on religion. In Orange's mind, that is just a crutch. You also have the rise of capitalism and mass marketing. Orange believes that everything should be as mass marketed as possible. From books to TV shows to movies to cars to cosmetics, everything mass market. Orange also believes in building its own personal wealth nest through buying up assets. So this is also where you have the rise of the stock market. Orange first emerged during the Renaissance period in the 1500s, well before you had the Industrial Revolution. You had a rediscovery of old literature, art and forms of science from Greek and Roman times, and then further built upon to make newer discoveries. And from there moving forward to today, science being the preferred method for inventing things and inquiring about the nature of reality and the universe. So the Renaissance was the beginning point of the rebellion against religion, which is now seen as superstitious nonsense. This is where you had the rise of modernity. As Orange oftentimes argues, if science cannot quantify the existence of something through any kind of materialistic methods, such as physics, chemistry, biology or maths, then it doesn't exist at all. For which this now becomes the new form of indoctrination taught across our society. Therefore, Orange will apply skepticism to anything else that is not science. Therefore, the scientific materialistic mindset goes hand in hand with the business and productivity mindset, both of which are the epitome of Orange thinking. With Orange, you have a democracy come into place, where the people decide their leaders. For as prior stages like Red or Blue were authoritarian in nature, but Orange now says no, we're all individuals that should choose to live our life how we see fit and purchase what we see fit, and religion just causes harm and gets in people's way and makes their lives miserable. Blue before was very uptight, now Orange is all about letting loose and having fun, and now takes that to the other extreme. This is also where you have the rise of comedy and humour. Another very positive aspect of Orange is now you have the rise of the middle class, which didn't exist in prior stages. And now with technology becoming more complex comes the rise of knowledge workers, which are much more highly valued than manual labourers. Now something that is important to note is that Orange is not identical to Red. Red will exploit any situation it sees fit and won't care about what the consequences are. For as Orange is quite opportunistic and will always try its best to get the best winning outcome for itself, but not at the expense of somebody else's life or well-being. Orange will just manipulate a situation to get a bargain, or the desired result it wants, but it won't take things further than that. Red uses forceful exploitation, for as Orange uses creative exploitation and manipulating resources to get the outcome that he or she desires. Orange wants the separation of church and government and deregulation so that we can all have uncensored development of technology made by the private sector, because Orange thinks that government just gets in the way, and damn the cost of the environment to make it happen. Orange has no moral qualms about the impact its actions have on the ecosystem, because it just treats the Earth's resources as though they are completely unlimited, which of course they aren't. In Orange, there is still a hierarchy in place in society, but with it now being very money and business driven, it's not set in stone, like a Blue hierarchy which is based in tradition, where it's about the position you're born into. Now you have an opportunity to climb the hierarchy, depending on how hardworking and competitive you are. See, now you have opportunity to work for yourself and achieve your way to the top. That gives you some upward mobility, even though it's much easier said than done. But at least now the hierarchy is based on competence as opposed to rank or bloodlines. It's all about improving one's position in life. Orange doesn't give a shit about the afterlife, that's not relevant to him. It's about making the most of life here before the day comes where you die and get buried in the ground. And the way Orange judges one's progress in life is by building one's net worth. Orange believes that life thrives on competition with businesses competing. Otherwise, there's no incentive to do any work, like in a socialist country. So before at Blue you worshipped prophets like Jesus or Muhammad. Now at Orange you look to celebrities and big brands. Examples of Orange are science and materialism, capitalism, emerging China, businessmen, CEOs, Wall Street, the finance and banking sector, your average movie, investment fund managers, your typical self-help coach, modern day Japan, big pharma, big oil, professional sports, high fashion, luxury watches, pickup, corporate lobbying, Hollywood, Hugh Hefner, Silicon Valley, theme parks, casinos, fast food, monopolies, especially with Disney buying up all the other intellectual property like Marvel, Star Wars and monetizing the shit out of them, and sell all this stupid merchandise, corrupt politicians, deregulation, tax cuts, game shows, real estate tycoons, gated communities, consumerism as a whole, the typical midlife crisis, and the sex, drugs and rock and roll revolution. The downfall of Orange is that it doesn't value metaphysics and thinks it's all just speculative nonsense, but not realizing that Orange has its own version of metaphysics, being the materialistic paradigm for which it sees reality. And that consciousness is just neurons firing off in the brain and don't come from any airy-fairy shit. Orange does not take emotions seriously. It thinks that emotions are just distorting influences that infringe on your ability to think logically. At this stage, people are often objectified based on their physical appearance, and relationships and interactions with other people are treated as transactional because Orange thinks that the chief obstacle to happiness in the world is not enough material luxury. Environmental chaos because, as I said before, Orange doesn't care about the environment, which leads to pollution. It tends to just treat the world's resources as though they are unlimited. Orange blames people who are serious victims of income inequality, calls them lazy just for not wanting to work hard, and turns a blind eye to children in the third world working in sweatshops and basically says that's their fault for not wanting to go to school and pursue higher education. And as capitalism gets really out of hand with wealth inequality, then the middle class will begin to shrink as the upper class earns more of the wealth. Just remember, Orange is not good or bad, it's a huge level up from prior stages, and most of the time it manifests itself in a healthy entrepreneurial way, to be independent, learn new skills, and develop yourself, and so forth. But then there is additional growth to be found beyond, that which we will be talking about in Stage Green, the next episode. Thanks for watching.